Boo! Hello, welcome SOBs to the Stream of Blood, and this is our regular Tuesday night show, which is a grab bag of different games. We call this Taste of Blood, and this is Spooktober on the Taste of Blood. We are playing Wraith the Oblivion, 20th Anniversary Edition. Wraith the Oblivion, the classic World of Darkness game where players are ghosts. You've died. What's next? The hook of Wraith was when you play this game, it starts with your character dying. Then what happens? And I played a little trick on my players last week. I didn't quite tell them what they were in for. They began as a human, a living paranormal investigators investigating the Tarot Castle in Cleveland. And that haunting ended up taking all three of their lives in various ways. In fact, one of them killed the other two. It was a horrible sight. There was much screaming and caterwauling and gnashing of teeth and flailing of limbs. But at the end of last week's scenario, all three of my incredible players were dead, and now the game truly begins. Tonight, we're going to see how the underworld works. What is it like to see from the other side of the Shadowlands as one of the wraiths, the souls that go on existing after their bodies have passed away? We are going to find that out tonight. Before we get started, I'll just say that this game is part of the World of Darkness. It is a game with adult themes. I've already checked with my players to find out the issues or elements of a game that might trigger them or make them unhappy to be involved. So we're going to leave those out of the game. But you, the viewers, should be aware that there might be some violence. There might be some gross, gory grotesqueness as part of this game. It is a horror game. There might be various strange powers at work, mind control, taking over people's bodies with ghostly forms. If any of that makes you uncomfortable, you should give this show a pass. But the most important thing to remember is that at the Stream of Blood, we are always willing to listen to your reactions to our content. We take it very seriously. We do read all of your comments. The best place to get in touch with us is on our Discord, the Server of Blood. Hop on our Discord, say hello, tell us what you thought of the show. We really would love to hear from you, and we really do take your responses very seriously. That said, I'm going to bring in my players. They are just a lot of fun, and it's my first time playing with all three of these people, and I think we really got a real head of steam last week. Now we're going to dive into the Wraith mechanics and see if we can make them work, if we can make something spooky happen. This first player, I first became aware of him as a game master for the Penny Arcade crew. He has his own music brand that you should check out. His Patreon is PATRICK MCNAMARA, and his brand is PN Music, I believe. Please welcome a gentleman and a scholar, PATRICK MCNAMARA, everybody.
It's me.
Hello. Did we both get haircuts?
Sorry?
Did we both get haircuts?
I think so, yes. I say haircut. I buzzed it.
Wow. Haircut buddies.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that in the UK, haircut buddies?
We do not. No, we don't have buddies of any kind.
It's a thing here. It's a thing. It's a thing in the US. It's a huge thing. Trust me.
I decided that there was one less thing for me to worry about on a day-to-day basis if I didn't have any hair. So I just went for it.
You're really
now
streamlining.
Even more like the default character in every shooting game.
Yes. Put a mustache on him. Yeah. I don't want to mess with the hair. Let's play.
Yeah, just move the mustache slider. There we go. Okay, now he looks like a real person. Slightly less default.
Patrick, your character last week, he delivered soliloquy. He's a Shakespearean actor pretending to be a medium. Mm-hmm. He delivered soliloquy that shook the floorboards. He really showed he has true talent. Then he got stabbed to death.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that how it always goes?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how it goes for Shakespeare's characters, but not necessarily Shakespearean actors. Usually they live on forever. Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, they just keep going.
Yeah, it's odd how rarely a lot of the greats, I think that's maybe one of the mistakes they make, is that they always fail to give a great performance, and then immediately be stabbed to death, which I just feel like it makes it so much more memorable. It just shows such a greater connection to the audience.
That's right. It's the ultimate mic drop
Yeah,
to just
absolutely.
get stabbed to death right after you get done acting.
Like anyone who saw that performance, next time they go and say, "Oh, I went and I went and saw David Tennant play Hamlet." You go, "Hey, fuck David Tennant. I saw
Yeah.
Derek Jacobson. He did a soliloquy, and then he got stabbed to death immediately by an angry ghost. And I never need to see Hamlet again. I have seen it perfected. That is how it is done."
I no argument here. It's too bad that only like 2 people in the game
Yeah,
world got to see it.
yeah, that is a shame.
But this next player's character knows what kind of talent you have. She is a fantastic actress that you can see in Southside season 2 coming soon to HBO, and you should also check out her podcast Mystery County Monster Hunters Club. Please welcome, as Dina Lewis, the makeup artist. Please welcome RASHAWN Scott, everybody.
Hello. It's so great to see all of you. Oh my goodness, hello.
Your adoring public is going wild. The chat is going wild, RASHAWN.
Everybody, please, we're gonna crash the server. Calm down.
Yeah, don't crash the server, you guys, like RINA did last week. RASHAWN, your character also, was kind of I think maybe the first one to kind of see weirdness, and then went down a tunnel, and then RINA's character stabbed you to death. Thoughts on this week and what you're looking to accomplish?
I'm really hoping that Dina doesn't go down into any more cellars. I feel like that was a major faux pas on my end. And I wanted to clack out early, and I sure did.
Yeah. Oh, hey, good point. Wow, you should actually get some points for that. Like, I'll have to give you some willpower or something, because you did technically clock out early when Mac's knife went into your back repeatedly, I think.
The back, and then stabbed twice in the chest.
Oh,
just for
painful.
good measure.
Nasty. not good. Well, let's bring in the murderer. Let's bring in you may have seen this phenomenal role player. They are part of the Ain't Slayed Nobody podcasts and streams. You can also see them on the Old Ways Horror on the Orient Express podcast, and we're so happy to have them here because last time the entire grid went out where they live, so power is back up and running. Please welcome RINA HAENZE, everybody.
Greetings. Well, I am your Majesty of Murder this evening.
Oh my God, RINA, I know that we saw you in your cosplay before, but then when it came on again, I just got scared again.
Yes, well, I tend to have that effect on people no matter what I do, so I thought I would just enhance the effects.
You know what? I don't find you scary in the least, except when you have this makeup on, which I know is intentional. Now, RINA, is this your interpretation of maybe how Mac looks as a Wraith? Does Mac have like kind of a split open throat?
So I think they do, probably from all the guilt because of all the murder.
Yeah. So Mac, in our last session, was possessed by some sort of spirit in the Tarot Castle, and then while in a creepy cellar room filled with strange military paraphernalia, just suddenly took up a dagger that was on an altar and started stabbing both of their colleagues before turning the knife on themselves.
Yeah, it has to be predestined. I mean, Mac the knife. Here we are.
I didn't even think of that.
Yep. It was destiny.
Everybody, go ahead. Patrick, sing it. Patrick, solo, go.
Oh, the shark has
Oh, I forgot to tell our viewers that this is the musical episode of Stream of Blood. No, it's not. It is. Although any music that finds its way in, I'm not opposed to. I did want to tell everybody, RINA, it was not planned last week. The entire grid went out around you, power grid, and that's why you kind of disappeared there at the end, right?
Yes, everything went down until the next afternoon. So it was very dramatic, but
it's so long.
Yeah, I know. But
what did you do without a Netflix?
Well, I didn't have Netflix for 2 weeks as it was, so I just read about 15 books.
You did what?
I read Hell House,
Oh,
which
okay.
seemed appropriate.
Read a book. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
No, we are literature fans here at the Stream of Blood, and I've never read Hell House. I've read Hill House, but I haven't
Oh.
read Hell House by Matheson. Is it good?
There's better, but it
Yeah.
had some good spooky stuff that I thought would add to the atmosphere, so I went and read that.
Spoken like a true nerd, Rina. There's
I
better.
know.
That
Well,
that
there
just means
is.
you're one of my tribe. That's what I say about 5 out of 10 TV shows. There's better. Okay. Are we ready to play some Wraith the Oblivion?
Yes.
Okay. If we can we throw up a character sheet? Because I just want the viewers to know that this crew now have different character sheets. Last week they were working with a mortal sheet. Just had kind of human concerns on it. But now, if we look at, say, Mac's character sheet, it is a Wraith the Oblivion character sheet. So Mac has all kinds of powers and other concerns that Mac did not have before. For example, Mac now has passions. Secret storyteller Jill PATRICK. Can we throw one of those sheets up? Is that possible? By the way, let's give a digital hand for Jill PATRICK on the 1s and 2s, everybody. There she is. Oh, she had it all ready to go. So as you can see, Mac now has passions, and Mac has filled in the emotions for each of these passions on their sheet. Rina, what are the emotions connected to your passions here? We know that Mac wants to prove the existence of the supernatural, and that is connected to pride. What about find my sister?
Which I think I did conclusively last session, by the way. At least to myself.
you proved it to yourself, but maybe you want to prove it to the world at large. And of course, you guys can change anything on these sheets at any time. If you look at something and go, Jared, I think this should be like this now, we'll just make it change. But what about is there emotion connected to find my sister?
Guilt.
Guilt. Okay, great.
Guilt for reasons that may become apparent or may not.
Yes, Jill, if you can or you have the ability, you can go ahead and write in guilt, and then put together a team of investigators. Did you have an emotion connected to that?
That one kind of went into pride, but also kind of went into greed a little bit. I think a mix of those two things, because I want to be in charge, but also I can get the most out of having a team together rather than doing things myself.
Okay. I like that. Maybe avarice would be like a good kind of way to put it, because that means wanting to control or have. So what does all this mean? What do these passions mean, viewer? Well, Wraith characters are dead, but the only reason that they stay in existence is because they have unfinished business. Unfinished business doesn't necessarily mean I buried my treasure and I have to stop people from getting it, although it could. It can instead mean these passions that Mac has. Like, for example, find my sister. Mac's sister is dead, and we may learn more about that during the game. But now that Mac is on the other side, maybe Mac can find their sister. And Mac already had the ambition or the desire to put together a team, but now it is sort of driving Mac as one of the restless dead. Mac also now has some arcanoi. Those are ghostly powers. With puppetry, Mac can possess and control humans. And with pandemonium, Mac can create strange little sort of special effecty kind of haunting effects that affect people when they enter Mac's zone of influence to kind of like scare them or make them take notice that Mac is there just on the other side of the veil. Likewise, Derek Jacobson and Dina Lewis have both gotten passions and arcanoi, and we may even talk about their fetters later, which are objects that they are connected to that they sort of haunt. But those are all the things that have been added to the sheet. We can explain it more as we play, but right now I'd kind of like to just get into the game. The only thing I'll add is to keep an ear and an eye open for when these players suddenly take on the shadow, because in the world of Wraith, when you die, there's a shard of oblivion inside you. Yes, a dark side, a part of you that doesn't want to exist anymore. think of it like the devil on your shoulder, always tempting you to just give up, that it's all worthless and meaningless and pointless, and that where you really belong is not up here haunting the lands of the living, but down in the depths of hell, just kind of being ripped to shreds and losing all of existence. And each of these players is going to be portraying the dark side or shadow of another player. So Patrick is going to portray Dina Lewis's shadow. RASHAWN is going to portray Mac McReady's shadow, and RINA is going to portray Derek Jacobson, Patrick's character's shadow. And they will either be shutting off their camera or dramatically changing their lighting when they transform and when they are playing the shadow instead of their main character. So keep an eye and an ear out for that. But right now, I would like to simply pick right back up where we left off with a very brief recap. After being stabbed to death in the strange secret cellar room in tunnels beneath the Tarot Castle, you sort of awakened Derek Jacobson and Dina Lewis inside these kind of strange pods, what another Wraith referred to as your call. And that Wraith, a man with a kind of a slight German accent, cut you free. He was definitely another spirit of the Restless Dead that cut you out of your call and was about to cut Mac McReady out of their call when you all realized that Mac was already gone. Mac had somehow torn out of their call on their own and had scampered off somewhere into the house. Derek and Dina, I think, showing some judgment, decided to get the hell out of there, and they were helped by the Wraith that had kind of freed them from their call. He pushed them up through the ceiling into the street. And Wraiths have this one ability that they can go through. They can push their corpus through solid objects in the lands of the living. So if there's a wall or a door that won't open, a Wraith can kind of just slide through it because you're not completely material, but it does cost you a point of corpus, which is like your health level, your health meter. So both Derek and Dina Lewis both took a level of corpus away from themselves. They found themselves up on the street where suddenly a mob approached them. A mob of men in armor, armed with swords and cudgels and like morning stars and like medieval weapons here on the streets of Cleveland. But these men also had the wan appearance of the Restless Dead. They looked like they too were Wraiths. And underneath their armor, you could see that some of them wore the uniform of, say, a state trooper. Another one had the fatigues of a National Guard weekender. And they approached you with manacles, and they were coming in it looks like they're trying to take you captive. And so, Derek and Dina, you find yourself, literally laying on the street as these men rush towards you, shouting, "For the Legion!" What do you do?
So, Dina, did you run away?
I did. You started to give them a speech, and I ran away.
Get behind
that is
me,
canon.
Dina. And to be fair, you did.
I did one of these.
Yeah.
Yep, not gonna deal with this. Okay, so Dina, just to describe Dina, how Dina looks now. Dina, your body actually, your corpus looks better. You look better than you have in years. Your self-image must be very good, because when a Wraith passes over, they sort of create their corpus out of how they see themselves. And I only mention this because Dina mentioned that she has a fantastic ass. So your ghost form does have a fantastic physique, but you still have like this kind of bubbling, like kind of wound of like kind of black ectoplasm bubbling forth from your chest where you were stabbed to death. And as you run, it sort of dribbles down your side. And these men follow after you, screaming and charging like a Anglo-Saxon war band. What about you, Derek? Are you're following her?
Yes. So Derek goes, "Look here, you ruffians! You shan't. And he looks around and sees Dina's run and gone, shit, leg it. And then he turns around and farts as
Very
you can,
good.
try to keep up.
So it sounds like we are already at a point where we're going to roll, and I think we'll just do one roll. Each of you need to roll your dexterity plus athletics.
It's a great pull. Great pull.
And we'll see if you are faster than this warband. I mean, they're weighted down with some kind of strange armor.
I got 2 successes.
3 successes out of 3.
Great. That's good. So that's actually very good. Now we know that everything 6 or above is a success. So we have 2 and 3 successes. Let's see how the warband does. The warband rolls 1, 2,
Not bad. That's
3, 4, 5 successes. Guys, I rolled 5 dice for them. These are physical type ghosts. They were strapping men in life, and they see themselves that way now. And so,
hey, Derek, you want to get away, don't you? I can help you with that. Derek, how will the show go on, Derek? If they catch you, the show must go on.
Had quite enough of voices in my head for one day, thank you. But
the show must go on.
The show must. So they're closing in on me right now.
Well, what I would like to describe is, as this voice starts to speak into your head, they have in fact caught both of you. So their hands are on your arms. They're trying to get your arms behind your back so they can slap manacles on you. You have left the realm of running, and you are now in a scuffle. And
can I slither out like a ghost?
An interesting question, Dina. You can try
get your hands off me. Get your hands off me.
You can try to do something like that, but I can tell you that it'll be a roll versus their sort of their fighting skill. But Derek, I can tell you that when you hear this voice inside you sort of offering you more power, it surprises you, but you do realize that perhaps maybe it's for real and it can help you.
We can get out of this, Derek. It doesn't have to be this way. What
All right,
say?
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to roll for their strength plus brawl to kind of slap you guys in irons, and you can give me some kind of roll that you'd like to use to get out of it. And for you, Dina, since you're talking about kind of how did you describe it? Oozing your way out?
Yeah, kind of slithering out. If it's just the manacles, I would make my wrists as thin as possible so that they look like bracelets and just slip on out.
You actually have a new ghost power that might help with this. You have something called Moliate. And Moliate helps you change the ectoplasm that makes up your body. So you could actually make your wrists thinner using Moliate. And if you'd like to do that, it might be a better pool. What is your strength plus brawl pool?
4.
Okay, so that's not horrible, but I bet these guys have more because they all look like warrior types.
Yeah, so they seem pretty beefy.
Yeah, they seem like beefy dudes, and they're all shouting. Some of them have like these terrible Cleveland accents. You can tell that they look like every shitty cop that ever died in Cleveland has joined this little war band.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. If you want to instead change your body using Moliate, you're going to use a power called Sculpt. You're going to spend 1 pathos. And can we show the sheet one time really quickly, if you don't mind, Jill Petracek, because I want our players to see exactly what I'm talking about. You have something called pathos, and it's fueled by how much emotion you have as a Wraith. And I want you to roll a D10 right now, Dina, and we're going to find out how much pathos you start with.
6.
Great, that's good. So you spend 1 pathos, and you roll dexterity plus your Moliate. So what would your dexterity plus your Moliate of 2 be? How many dice would that be?
That would be 5.
So it's a slightly better roll for you. Do you want to spend the pathos and use your power, or do you want to just try to fight them like Skitter 3 using like dexterity plus brawl or something like that?
Jared, I ain't afraid to no ghosts, okay?
Okay, great. So as they are grabbing onto Dina, she starts to kind of like, you watch Derek as Dina's arms sort of stretch and bend and become thinner. And Dina, roll your dexterity plus molliate, your 5 dice versus their brawl attack.
2 successes.
Guess what? You won that one. They got 2 successes, but I'm going to say since you're using a Wraith power, they don't get they don't really clasp any irons on you, and so Dina, you've kind of slid free, and you can see Derek that Dina's arms are kind of waving and stretched. They look kind of elasticy, like Mr. Fantastic or something like that. And Derek, the bell is now tolling for you.
You can't let her get away. Just her. How would you feel? How would the theater feel, Derek, if you got trapped here and she got away?
Derek tries to push this voice out of his head, but he's what he's going to do is he's not going to try and fight his way out, because he couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag.
Okay, great.
In a way, he's going to try and solve this with acting. He's going to pretend that there's been a mistake and that they have clasped irons on the wrong people. And he's going to try and use his skill as a cold reader to try and get hints out of these people as to who they are and what they're doing.
Very good. Sounds good. So I will allow you to try that. And just to be clear, is the shadow offering dice to Derek Jacobson? And if so, how many?
I could give you, let's say if we were using dice, it might be somewhere around 3.
Yeah. The player can perfect. So 3 dice are on offer. The shadow will get stronger though. For each die that Derek takes from the shadow gains 1 angst. And the shadow, as it gains angst, gets more powerful. It can use its own powers or even take over the Wraith's body corpus. Derek, do you accept that strange offer?
Well, Derek, in his arrogance, he knows that he's about to do some acting. And if there's one thing that Derek is confident in, it is that he is possibly one of the greats.
Yes.
So he just says, Derek Jacobson has no need of extra dice.
Very good. I'm going to rule. Dina, you have slipped away from them completely as Derek suddenly tries to talk to them. Because you are not stopping them from slapping the manacles on you, they do so while you are talking, Derek. I don't think that they're going to stop doing that to listen to your soliloquy, but perhaps what you're about to say will change their minds. So give me, and I will allow you to use your cold read specialty. What's your dice pool that you're going to use?
So that's going to be, I was thinking manipulation and subterfuge.
Great. Manipulation plus subterfuge. Go for it.
You fools.
Here's what I think. I think you need 3 successes.
Well, I got 6 successes.
Holy shit.
I got a crit. I don't know if I'm rolling any special dice or anything, but I got 2 zeros, a 7, and a 6.
Very good. Okay. So these men, you can see where they have had. Some of them have had holes blown out of them, or they have gunshots in their chest. And you soon realize that they, whoever they are also the victims of violence. That is what your cold read kind of like, ooh, I know how to trick people kind of gives you with those 6 successes. You know that that's the thing to start to leverage. And so, Derek, let me hear what you say to them.
You fools. When your superior, that their grunts have laid hands on Derek Jacobson, you'll all be for the chop. Those piffling, trifling wounds you have now will be nothing compared to what your generals will do when they discover the mistake that you have made.
Excuse me, everybody stop. And they're about to put like some kind of big apparatus over your face that like puts like a metal like muzzle on you. And this guy's like, stop. You're saying you're in the Legion?
Of course I'm in the Legion. I'm undercover, you moron.
Where's your mark?
I'm undercover. I have no mark. That's the whole point of being undercover.
6 successes means that they just start whispering to each other.
Cover as we speak. I am supposed to be attached to this Dina Lewis.
Charmed.
An operation to oust the renegades, huh?
Quite. Now, the longer we speak about this, the greater the chance that my entire mission will fail. So find an excuse to let me go or let me escape. And no one needs to hear any more of this.
Sorry, sir, I didn't realize. I failed. Shut up! Very good. Get him out of the irons. And the others are kind of like, what? And he's like, get him out! And so they unhook your manacles. And one of the other spooks says, we should check with the captain. Make sure he's on the level.
You really want your captain to know the cataclysmic fuck-up you were nearly a party to? Then go right ahead. Call him now.
Well, we have to go back to talk to him. There are no phones here. And looking around you, perhaps you've only now gotten to stop and catch your breath. And I mean that only metaphorically, because you realize, Derek, that there is no breath expanding your chest anymore. And again, the landscape is not the street that you were on when you were alive. You see pieces of old architecture, houses that were torn down centuries, decades ago, grafted onto the sides of houses that you saw when you arrived here as a living man. You see weird catwalks of wood and steel, spider webs of old broken infrastructure everywhere, because this is the Shadowlands, where anything that dies, including buildings, sort of has its echo here. And so the Legionnaires step away from you, and the one that sort of really took you hook, line, and sinker and appears to be the commander of this band says, you need some assistance, some backup?
It would look rather poorly for me, given my cover, if I was seen to have backup from the Legion.
Right.
The best thing I can do now is make a drastic escape so that anyone watching believes that I've simply given you the slip.
All right. We'll make it believable, right?
Yeah, of course.
Get him! Don't let him get away! Get him, you fools! What have you done?
Dina is up on a perch. She's found like a tall building and is just looking down over all of this and is just realizing, holy crap, I'm dead.
That's a lot to take in. A hell of a lot to take in. Looking at yourself, you even detect just a slight amount of translucence when you really look hard at your hand. And you see now Derek running from them again, but it looks like they let him go. And Derek, what are the passions that you have chosen for yourself? No, what is the passion that was all? I kind of helped you prove my worth to the acting world. Do you have any passions that might be any other passions other than that one right now?
Revenge.
Oh, really? Revenge against
range.
Oh, your enemy. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, great.
Ruined my acting career and forced me into a world of cable television ghost haunting shows.
What is the emotion connected to prove my worth to the acting world?
I put pride.
Pride. Okay.
He really does seem
Do you
quite
feel
hard with
do you feel pride? Do you feel pride at having done a virtuoso performance and escaped what looks like enslavement or worse from
I
these?
feel pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want you to roll the passion.
Oh.
And
that's
tell
what
me
I
how many. Yeah.
Okay. I got oh, that's a questionable one. Oh, I got 2 successes.
2 successes. So you'll see where there is a pathos meter down below. Would you? I guess it started at 5, but actually, what I would like you to do is roll a d6. That's how many you had to start. And then
I don't have a d6.
What's that?
Did you say d6?
A d10, rather. I'm so sorry. Roll a d10. That's how many you're starting with.
You rolled a 1.
Okay, that's okay. And then you got 2 more from your passion just now. So you have 3. You have 3 pathos, and you realize that giving incredible performances fuels you as a wraith. As you clamber toward where you see Dina perched high above. And now I would like to, meanwhile, I would like to go down into the bowels of the Tarot Castle, the haunted house you were all in. Mac, somehow you ripped free from your call. You got away from the strange spirit that was setting the others free, and you are been clambering around down in these tunnels. Where are you trying to go? Where do you think you went next? What did you do?
So I think I'd be trying to get back up to that little attic room where I saw Dana, because now I'm a spirit, and if that was her spirit, maybe she's still up there. Maybe I can find her.
Where you saw your sister.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. I think that what happens is as you're walking around down in these tunnels, you find one where you hear the crashing of waves, the lapping of waves against a shoreline, and you can hear far down, deep beneath you, like a rumble, as if an entire ocean. An ocean that is in the midst of a raging storm exists. If you just walk a couple of steps down this tunnel, you feel that you would fall into this storm. In fact, the spray from it spittles across your face, but it's not cool, refreshing water. It's something else. It's little bits of ectoplasm, little bits of soul spray out from this particular tunnel. And your corpus is chilled to the bone. This is not the way upstairs. How are you going to find your way out of these tunnels?
So, I had the mask when I died, and I was wearing the mask when I saw Dana. So I'm going to try and focus on the mask and see if I can figure out where it is. Because if I can get to that, I can maybe get out.
So, thank you for choosing an action which helps us display one of the game mechanics. So, not only do these characters have passions, they have fetters, objects in the land of the living that they are connected to, that their spirit kind of haunts. If you would like, I can allow your character to earn a power right now, an arcanoi power, that will instantly let you know where that mask is, because it is one of your fetters. It's one of the objects you are tied to.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, great. The power I'm talking about, and you have at least 2 more dots coming to you, is called Life Web. And with Life Web 1, Life Web is something wraiths use to keep track of their fetters, to always be watching their fetters, because if a wraith's fetter is destroyed, the part of the wraith is destroyed. So if you kill a person that is dear to a wraith, or if you take a wraith's classic T-bird that he was obsessed with and you smash it into a wall, a little bit of that wraith's corpus goes away. A little bit of their soul is whittled away. And so for you, the mask that you were wearing when you murdered these people, that is a fetter for you. And with LifeWeb, you can keep track of it very carefully. And sometimes people even use LifeWeb to find out what other Wraiths' fetters are. And then they use LifeWeb to destroy those fetters or to snip those connections. And those are just some of the nasty ways that you can use LifeWeb. But let me see what LifeWeb 1 gives you.
Would I do that? Me?
Yeah, here we go. At level 1, which is what you have now, you can sense strands. You have an intuitive awareness of your fetter's locations. By concentrating on one, you can extend your perceptions to its immediate vicinity. And would you like to do that now?
I would.
Okay. Roll, if you will, your wits plus LifeWeb. So your wits are, let's see, 3, and then your LifeWeb is currently 1. So roll 4 dice.
Get out the D10s. Okay, that is 2 successes.
Suddenly, your perceptions, you're seeing through the eye hole of the mask, and you're watching, and there's a kind of a blurry figure that kind of sort of glows with life, kind of holding it up and kind of considering it, and you can't quite see who they are, like. But because they don't seem to be on this side of the shroud, like they're in the land of the living, holding the thing. But you're seeing this person kind of hold up the mask and consider it, and then things come a little bit more into focus, and you can see that there's a badge on their chest, and so it looks like some sort of detective or police officer is looking at the mask right now, and you know exactly where to go.
I'm going to go to it.
Okay, great. Because of your successful use of LifeWeb, you move through the halls away from this strange kind of like roaring sea beneath the world that you just encountered. And soon you find your way into that strange kind of room with the altar. And now there are lots of glowing figures moving around in here, and they sort of move like a little bit in fast forward, and they're just a little blurry because you can tell they're not on the same side of the veil as you, but you can see that there are cops and forensics artists kind of like looking around and putting tape around where the body of poor Derek Jacobson and poor Dina Lewis lay just a little while before you got lost in the labyrinth beneath the house. And yes, indeed, it looks like not a detective, but an officer, a blue guy in blue is kind of looking at the mask and considering it as evidence. There's one more thing about this room, which is that on this side of the veil, that sort of ocean water that I mentioned, it's sort of seeping in through the cracks and through the ceiling, and you can hear the roar of that ocean beneath the world all around in this room. It's very close. What would you like to do?
Can I hear anything, or is it just all kind of muted and out of focus like the figures are?
Everything is muted and out of focus unless you want to kind of try to pierce the shroud, the veil between worlds, with one of your arcanoi.
Well, I can possess people to some extent.
Yes.
So I mean, there's this cop who's holding on to the mask. So let's take him for a ride.
Very good. Describe to me how you. This is called. It's level 1 of puppetry is the power, and you can do what's called skin riding someone, which is just a disgusting term. But what it means, Mac, it means that you can slip into their body as an ephemeral spirit. Describe how Mac would go about that.
So I think Mac would kind of just go up to him and they're not quite sure what's going to work because they're new to this whole Wraith thing. But I think almost subconsciously, they're just going to reach out and touch the hand that's holding the mask and try to sink into it.
Okay, great. You can please roll your strength plus puppetry, and you have a puppetry of 2.
Okay.
Oh, and please spend a pathos. And we forgot to figure out how much pathos you have, so please roll a d10 and find out how much pathos you have.
I rolled a 10.
Oh, great. You have 10 pathos to start. And it makes sense. Your journey through the house was a little bit more emotional than maybe Derek's or Dina's. So you built up a real big head of steam before you killed yourself. So there you are. You have you have 10 pathos. Spend a point of pathos, and then how did your strength plus puppetry roll go?
Okay. So I get to roll 3, and that is 2 successes out of 3.
Suddenly you can taste garlic in your mouth. Whatever he had for dinner, it was pretty garlicky, and you can feel it kind of burbling in his stomach. But it feels good. Unbelievably, it feels good, Mac, because you've just spent a few hours with no body to speak of, and suddenly the warmth of the land of the living and everything comes into perfect focus. You are alive again. You're in his body, and you can hear him. You can hear his voice coming out of your throat. You are ripped open throat, and instead of just like a gasp and blood pouring from your ripped open jugular, you hear his voice go, "Should I bag this?" Or and then a woman in a severe bun, in a sport coat and a dress shirt, walks up, and you see that this woman has a badge on her belt and says, no, I mean, we'll take it back, but yeah, I want the captain to see this. And so definitely you are in a crime scene, and you are currently holding the mask, but you realize that frustratingly, you're his passenger. You're not in control of him. And so he takes the mask over and tosses it onto kind of this little bit of like rolling cart that they've pulled into the area.
Mac winces internally.
That is when suddenly the spirit that Dina and Derek saw, but I don't know that Mac ever got a chance to see him. A man with black hands enters the room. He's got black hands up to the elbow, a mustache, and a haggard look. And he enters, and he's definitely on this side of the veil. Only you can see him, Mac. And he is moving over to where the mask lays on that little push cart.
So I'm going to drop off my passenger for the moment, since I frustratingly can't make him do anything. I'm like, hey, what are you doing with that? Stop that. That's mine.
He looks at the mask, and he's looking at the cops all around, and he's trying to grasp it. And you see that for a moment he kind of gets the tip of it up, but then it kind of slides right through his finger. And now he's like, kind of like, you can see that he's thinking. And you're trying to extricate yourself from the body, right? Right, Mac? Give me another strength plus puppetry roll.
Oh, dear. 1 success. Not as good.
You could use a little help, couldn't you? You're just gonna let him take it? Spending all this time fooling around in a human? Do you want a little oomph, a little pow, a little zing?
Oh, what? What?
Oh, you know exactly who I am because I am you. I thought of this, or you thought of this, and I'm the only one brave enough to say it out loud.
Suddenly,
grab the mask.
Suddenly, the spirit of the man moves over to the cop that you are inhabiting, and looks right into the cop's eyes. The cop can't see him, but he sees you inside. He sees you inside, Mac, and he says, "It's talking to you, isn't it? Don't listen to it. Don't listen. For I knew you were all tainted. I knew you were going to destroy my work. Yeah." And he runs back over to the mask, and he looks like he's trying to work quickly now, but he doesn't know quite what to do. And that voice still echoes inside of your head, Mac.
Great. Now I've got evil German scientist ghost to deal with. That's just great. As if my afterlife couldn't get any worse.
Think about your sister's afterlife.
You can help.
I can help in the form of 3 die. Overpower this one. Right? That's what we're doing.
You got it. No, RASHAWN, perfect. So you are offering 3 dice. If you take them, the shadow that RASHAWN is controlling gets 3 angst. And you can just roll those in addition, because 1 success was not enough. You were like trying to pull yourself free of this guy's body, but you're new at all of this, Mac. So do you take those dice?
Mac's thinking they don't trust voices in creepy ghost afterlife, but also just being reminded of their sisters. Like, well, if Dana's ghost was in here, I don't want to come out of this place, and the cop is going to leave at some point. So
Find me,
yeah,
sis. Find me. We can be together in the afterlife. If only you cared.
Actually, my good friend RASHAWN, your shadow can sound exactly like Mac's sister Dana by using the by using Trick of the Light, which is one of your thorns. Would you like to spend a point of angst and make the actual voice of Mac's sister kind of call out to her?
Absolutely. Let's hope your sister's from Chicago.
So suddenly you do hear your sister's voice coming from somewhere in the house, begging you to help her. Do you take these dice?
Dana, I'm coming. Wait, and I'm gonna roll the extra 3, and that is another 2 successes.
Okay, great. So your shadow gains 3 angst, but had already spent 1. So that's a net 2 angst. But that's what we call shadows play money ball, RASHAWN. They play money ball. That's a net gain for you. And if you get to 10 angst, you're going to add another point of permanent angst, and you might have an attempt. You might be able to attempt taking over the Mac's corpus. But with that extra,
I would never do that. Huh?
You wouldn't.
With that extra oomph, you are able to rip yourself free of this body, and you can now take on this spirit who is sort of trying to manipulate the mask, or perhaps you run to go help your sister. Which do you think you do?
Do I still hear her voice when I break out of the body?
No, I'm afraid that the thorn the shadow used doesn't last for an entire scene. It just lasts for a single moment.
Okay, so I'm gonna look around trying to hear where it was coming from, but I'm so newly dead. I don't know where to go. I don't know where she is, but I know how I found her last time. So I'm gonna go over to the mask and evil German scientist ghost.
Okay, great. So he is like, I can tell. It's already speaking to you, isn't it? Promising you things, telling you that it will make everything okay. Huh? Yes? Well?
Who the fuck are you? What are you doing here? Did you kill my friends?
I did not kill your friends. I am Hans Teitelmann. This is my house. You are invading my house. You are invading my domicile.
Because you're haunting it. And people die.
We have to make sure that the officers of the law do not take this mask anywhere.
What's with the mask? What does it do?
It is a fulcrum, a nexus for the other being that haunts this place.
Dana?
Dana? Who is Dana? Please, just can you help me move it or hide it somehow? And he's going to attempt something. Okay, so he goes and he is now making like strange, like, you know, bits of gore and like bodily fluids kind of like drip from the ceiling of the tunnel, of the chamber. A bit of ear kind of splatters onto the floor, and you realize, maybe with surprise, Mac, that the police are reacting to this. They're like, "Holy shit! What the fuck? Oh, man. There could be a grave or something down here." I'm like, they're all like kind of really kind of talking at once. Of course, you are on the other side of the shroud right now, so their voices are, "What's going on? Hey, what's?" And also, whenever you are in the other on the other side of the shroud, people that are living appear to move a little faster and talk a little faster than you. You feel like you're in slow motion. So he's doing something. They seem distracted, but he's not able to kind of grasp the mask.
You could scare them out or something, but I don't think I can. I couldn't touch it.
If you'd like, you could maybe earn a power right now that allows you to touch it, or maybe you go, Rina, you say, "No, I'm not. I don't want that right now. I want to see what happens. I'm not sure that I trust this guy." Like, what do you think?
Does the power allow me to touch all physical objects or just the mask?
All physical objects.
Ooh. I'm going to take that.
All right.
Because I've already got some ideas for later.
Give your character 1 dot of outrage. And you gain the level 1 power, which is called Wraith Grasp. And it doesn't really give you very much power at all. But what happens is Mac is sort of like running her hand around where the mask is in the land of the living, and Mac thinks they might be able to flick it off the table.
So distract them, and I'm gonna, as this ghost is doing all the blood and gore and ears and everything, I'm going to flick the mask off and maybe flick it into a corner somewhere it won't be noticed.
Let's see how well they are able to do that. In order to use this Wraith Grasp power, they need to roll. So let's see how well they are able to work that out. Wraith Grasp, you need to spend a Pathos and roll Strength plus Outrage.
Okay, so that's just going to be 2.
Okay, so don't worry. You know, sometimes when we improvise how we get our powers, and we don't get what I would call optimized dice pools, we can work that out. You can change the power later, or maybe change your dots a little bit.
But that is still 2 successes, a 6 and an 8.
So you flick the mask off of the cart, which already has a lot of other evidence and stuff on it, and you can see that these guys are like kind of like, you know, I'm drunk. They start to move out of the room, and the mask lays on a floor in the corner, and the man standing across from you goes, "Thank you. Thank you. You've done well." And that's when you both hear blood-curdling screams coming from somewhere else in the tunnels. Meanwhile, on the surface, actually hanging like gargoyles from a bit of scaffolding somewhere, we find Dina Lewis and Derek Jacobson. Gentleman and lady, what do you do next when you find yourself in this strange environment?
Now, Dina, I'm not sure what's going on here.
We're dead.
I suspect that I have these special pills. I call them Derek special pills that I take when I need to calm down. Now, I suspect that I had slightly too much wine with my pill. And what we need to do now is we need to go back and we need to find Miffy, and she can drive me home, and we can have a nice...
Derek, I'm going to be level with you right now. Miffy is gone. Okay.
Nothing's
I was stabbed. You were slit across the throat. We're dead. We are. Look at this. Look at this. And I my head floats off of my body.
Great. I won't even
I
make you
shouldn't be
roll
able
for
to
that.
do this, Derek.
Yep.
This is all in line with too many of Derek's special pills. But
try to swallow one of those pills right now and see if it does anything to you. I bet you dollars to donuts it's going to pass through your ectoplasm and scatter all over the floor like spilled Skittles. What we need, I need to find an earthly vessel, okay? I was gone way too soon. And I need to inhabit somebody. I'm not supposed to be here.
I
think this was my voice.
Either. I still have a return to the stage to take care of.
Well, if you don't hurry up, your understudy's going to step right in.
The clouds are moving overhead. It feels like it's just so rapidly, like the world of the living kind of spins around you, and yet here you are, sort of decaying on this rooftop. And I do think that as you are arguing this out, that perhaps you both become aware. Well, Derek is already aware of voices in your head. And so I just want to say, as a storyteller, I am happy for you to do absolutely anything you want. You can go back to the house and look into where your friend Mac went. Maybe that occurs to you. Or you can just go look up your enemy. And I would be super happy with that game too, Derek. Although I suspect he might be in the United Kingdom. And I don't know how Derek's going to get all the way there.
He's somewhere that's convenient for the plot.
Yes.
He's wherever he needs to be.
He's having a review in Cleveland right now.
He's
the great Cleveland Playhouse. Now, I mean, Derek, we're gone too soon. We obviously know that, and there's no way that Mac would just kill us for no reason. There's got to be some rhyme or reason to it.
Mac attacked me with a knife. Typical of them.
They've never done that before.
Doing that kind of shit. Being sarcastic, rude, condescending, attacking people with knives. It's Mac McCready behavior all over. Let's go and find Mac.
Make a wits plus awareness roll. I think that's on the sheet, or wits plus alertness, rather. Forgive me.
Wits plus
both of us?
I can't see.
Yes, you may both make that roll.
3 successes.
I got 1 success.
You become aware far down beneath that, as you have been talking, that other patrols move through every once in a while, of these sort of armored men bearing chains. And in addition to that, looking at some of the other houses, you see for a moment sort of wan, sort of faded forms look out of windows and then sort of, duck back into their various haunts. But I can tell you that you are also aware that of the land of the living, of the living people that are moving down below. And for them, it's a normal Saturday morning. Like they're just moving about at sort of this rapid sort of time sped up pace.
Now, Dina, we must avoid the gentleman with the cudgels. I convinced them, using my classically trained skills as an actor, that I was one of them working undercover. So I managed to escape them once, but who knows how many times I'll be able to do that. One must recharge one's acting abilities. I suggest that we go back to the house, we find Mac McCready, and we give them a bloody good talking to. A bloody stern one at that.
I can agree to that.
Happened to me. I am Union.
Yes, as am I. Unions are very, very important. I guess we can we push back through that portal that we came through?
You could go back to the house and you could go to the very place where you came up through the street, and you could kind of sink back down into the street if you'd like. Would you like
a manhole or something?
Yeah, there are manholes. Of course, when you go to so are you going to investigate that?
Yeah, I investigate a manhole.
Okay, very good. RASHAWN, that's my favorite sentence I've heard all night, and I almost want to give you an extra point of willpower for it. Okay, so you find a manhole in the street, but when your fingers try to gain purchase, you see that it is a solid object in the world of the quick, and you're not quite able to grasp it. One of you could earn a power that allows you to do that right now, or you could just kind of, you're pretty sure, RASHAWN, that your character can just kind of sink through and take a point of corpus to do so, of course.
Sure. Well, I'd say, Derek, if you wanted to make a big entrance, now was the time to do it. And I like jump into the air, and then like backsplash down through the ground.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Okay, take a point
Like
of
Shamu.
corpus. Take a point of corpus damage as you shamu your way back down into the tunnels beneath the street here. And Derek?
Once more into the breach. And then he dives after.
Very good. Take a point of corpus damage as your corpus, your ectoplasm, it permeates the very molecules of the street, and you come out back down in the tunnels you were in previously, and you can hear voices. You hear a voice around the corner saying, "Very good, you've helped me, yes." And then you both hear a blood-curdling roar scream, like a echoing somewhere down the tunnel.
Well, that's quite enough of that.
So you see the room that you were in when you were murdered, and you can see the quick humans, living people, like moving past you, like boom, 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 and you actually have to kind of move out of their way, or you're going to take another point of corpus damage as they kind of slide through your corpus. And so what do you do?
I'm gonna vampire up to the ceiling so that I don't get like walked through.
Oh, interesting. You're going to kind of like turn and like grasp the ceiling, right? Is that what you're telling me? I actually think that you're doing so much movement that I think that your character has a movement power called Argos, my friend RASHAWN. I think that Dina has a little bit of Argos, and level 1 of Argos, let's see, gives you what is called, well, don't worry about that. I think you have 2 points of it, because at 2 points, you get phantom wings. This art enables the Wraith to fly in the Shadowlands. So give yourself Argos of 2. Don't worry about what level 1 does. That will become important later, but you have an Argos of 2, and you guys watch as, or if rather, Derek, you watch as like, do you want it to be wings, or do you want to just float around, Dina?
I want like 4 sets of arms to come out, and I just like.
Okay, that's awesome. That happens. So, in order for that to happen, it says that you, let's see, you spend a point of pathos. So spend one of your pathos. I'm not going to make you roll for it this time, but I can tell you that you have a couple turns of flight right now, and those mini arms kind of do exactly as you say. They kind of like levitate you up to the ceiling and out of the way of the quick that are moving through. And now
imagine if I had these to do makeup, like.
Oh yeah, awesome. And now something is moving down the tunnel toward all of you, and you can hear its feet splashing in that black ocean water that you're now becoming all aware of. That sort of like sea that is kind of, it's sort of seeping in through the cracks in the tunnel. This sort of black ichor that passes for seawater. You can hear it splashing down the tunnel toward you at a rapid rate. What do you do? Let's start with Mac.
Have I seen the others come in, or have I not noticed?
They're outside the room.
Oh, okay.
But Hans looks at you and goes, "We must hide ourselves. The geist is coming."
The what?
The geist. He is a specter. Very dangerous. Come! And he runs out into the hallway.
Fuck. And Mac just follows after him, swearing.
Okay, so Dina has just pulled her little flying trick, Derek, when suddenly Mac and the man you saw before who freed you from your call come careening around the corner, running toward you.
I see Mac McCready and immediately fixed with a singular purpose. I hear them swearing to themselves, and I see that's you with that uncouth language, always effing and fucking blinding. Absolutely typical.
I should have known even death wouldn't shut you up, Derek.
You murdered me, you shit.
Wasn't me. I was possessed.
They
Notice
murdered
I also
me as
murdered
well.
myself.
We have to run! And
Okay.
the man with the blackened hands like pushes past you and hightails it down the hall, down the tunnel.
All right, I follow, and I go, we're going to discuss this later on, Mac McCready.
Yes, I'm sure we will at great length. Write a soliloquy about it.
Dina flitters down the thing with her arms.
Very good. You flitter with your flying arms, and I'm going to say, yeah, you can fly for the rest of the scene, Dina. Okay.
Cool.
Normally you'd roll to see how many turns, but I think we're debuting your flight. You can do that for a little bit. Okay. So eventually you guys get to the strange wall where Dina, while alive, like kind of fell through the rotting like plaster, and you find yourself in the basement of Tarot Castle. And your friend Hans is like running up the stairs up into the house itself. But the thing that is following you is hot on your heels. And I want to know how you are getting away quickly. I know that Dina can fly. Dina, I do want a roll from you now. I want give me a dexterity plus athletics roll. To see how well you flutter up the stairs into the house. But the other two, what are you doing?
I feel like Shakespeare's not going to get me out of this.
Maybe not.
One success.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have some skill in the occult.
Uh-huh.
Specifically in faking the occult.
Yes.
I might try and create some kind of ward and make this creature think that I'm not to be trifled with.
Interesting.
Using my skill with like I've learned little bits and pieces of occult like terminology and things like that. I'm not an expert by any means because I think it's all complete rubbish. But I have gotten some skill at faking and getting by with the occult. So I'm going to try and put on a performance that I'm some kind of wizard you shall not pass. Because I can't run. Like I'm too old. I've gone to sea.
You're a ghost.
But Derek doesn't believe that for a moment.
So Derek,
nothing has made you believe that you're a ghost up until now.
Derek, give me an occult plus charisma.
Okay.
Roll right now as this thing.
Derek, you really want this to work, believe us. We know. And you know, Derek. Just think of this as your greatest performance. If you can make them believe this thing, whatever it is, you could make anyone believe. Just think of it, Derek.
Saying I can't do this with my... I'm classically trained. You don't think I can do this with my own abilities?
I think you can when it's people, but we don't know what that is, do we? Just think if you could tame the beasts, Derek. Tame the beasts with your skills. Wouldn't that be something? No one could laugh at you then. No one could give your parts to other actors.
How dare you bring up Reginald Derange?
No one would give this role to Reginald if you could do this. Just think of it, Derek.
Derek slams the dice into the dice tower.
You know what I realized? Oh, someone is speaking. Sorry.
Oh no, that was it. He slams his dice into the dice tower and he achieves 3 successes.
Oh, okay. Derek, this is so 3 successes, you say. Well, Derek, this is so interesting. I wouldn't expect Derek to have this power, but he has repeatedly refused his shadow like 3 or 4 times, and it looks like Derek might know how to use Castigate. And in fact, Castigate is a power that lets you hurt the shadows and also put up wards against specters and evil things. And so I think in this moment, by faking it, he's actually become the real thing for a moment. He gets Castigate 2 under his Arcanoi, and he can roll right now his Bulwark power. You need to pay a Pathos and roll your stamina plus Castigate. Your Castigate level will be 2.
Well, my stamina is not terrible at all. You know, I've done some pretty lengthy plays.
Yeah.
I rolled every single one of those as success. I got 4 successes.
What happens is, it says here that if you succeed, Bulwark shields her and anyone that touches her from the force of the Maelstrom. Maelstroms we haven't discussed yet, but they have something to do with that strange ocean I keep mentioning, and hides them from nearby specters. And because you've rolled a 4, you have hid not only yourself, but also 1 success Dina, who is definitely going to get grabbed, and Mac and Hans from this thing. And it now enters the room, and you can see that it is the being you saw for a moment earlier. And the mask that it is wearing is the same mask, but it seems molded onto its face like it is part of its corpus. And it's like, I know you're here. I
More
can
evil
smell you.
Great.
He doesn't know we're here.
And it moves like on huge hooves, and it's like, you will all serve me in the end. I serve Oblivion. And it starts singing like this dirge, that like this strange scream is coming out of its throat, and it seems to shake your very corpus, everyone. And now you are going to try to resist a power. It is trying to get you to reveal yourselves because you have become invisible thanks to Derek's completely fake ward that he threw up. And
I auditioned for Gandalf, you know. I mean, they gave it to McKellen in the end, but I was quite good at the "you shall not pass." You know,
we've all seen your audition tape. We've seen it.
More sort of confident, less "you shall," but more "you shall not pass."
It was all over YouTube for a brief, glorious second.
He's rolling this many, which is not a small amount. And let's see how well he does. The rest of you can roll your willpower. I think that's still a thing on the Wraith sheet, right? Yeah. Roll your willpower and see if you get more successes than he does. If he gets more successes than you, then that means you reveal yourself. You kind of step out of the spell that Derek has managed to put over you.
I don't like the sound of how many dice you're rolling, Jared.
Well, it's not a little bit. I'll tell you that much.
I'm rolling exceptionally well today.
Yeah, where were you last week?
Successes.
So, wait, how did you do, Patrick? How did Derek do? 4. How did Mac do?
4.
RINA. 4. How did Dina do?
2 out of 6.
2.
Oh, you didn't have to say it like that.
Dina. Fuck
these
people. Let's get out of here.
So here's what happened. And you are hearing this voice, but here's what happened. Basically, the scream shook you so much that you kind of lost like your handle on the ceiling, and you kind of fell, and you kind of like shouted for a second, Dina. And now the thing is like looking up to see you, and that's when you hear this voice in your head.
Dina, let's just take a little of my power. I'm gonna help you out right now. And we can get the hell out of here. You wanted to clock out early. And like all jokes aside, that is still absolutely on the table. Leave these losers behind and just get out of here. All you need is just a little help from me to just smooth this little event over.
Give me all you got. We'll do some double overtime.
So how many dice can I offer?
So you can offer, I think it's up to 5.
Okay, let's I'm offering you 5 dice.
And what I realize is that Wraith on a stream works so much. When you're at home, you just take the dice and you go and you set them down in front of the person.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do this, we all have to go, I'm giving you 5 dice. Okay, 5 dice. Are you taking those, Dina?
Oh, yeah. Dina is a greedy little late ghosty.
Add 5 angst to Dina's shadow. And how much angst does that put you at?
That puts me at 10.
Okay. Go ahead and roll with those extra 5 dice, Dina.
So the extra 5 dice plus the one
plus the one success. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Plus 1. Okay, so let's go.
You already have the 1 success, but roll the extra 5 dice.
Okay, now that I understand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I actually picked out 5 dice to give them to you because I forgot that we're not.
So that's 3 successes to that 1, so 4 successes.
So here's what actually happens. Not only did your shadow empower you so much, Dina, with that little shadow dice offering, but the shadow has also taught you a new power at the same time, because Argos, which allowed you to fly, has a deeper art at level 2, so you don't even need more dots for this to happen, called Enshroud, and it means that you kind of stepped out of Derek's protection of you and had to throw up your own. Oh no, it's a level 1 initiate power. You've suddenly become kind of hard to see. You've thrown up shadow around yourself. And that does cost you a little bit of something, though, right? Let's see. Yeah, this actually, you have to take away a corpus to do this. So basically, you have thrown up shadow stuff around yourself. Dina does a lot of stuff with her own corpus, and so now she kind of pulls shadow out of herself, and the thing looks up and just sees blackness where Dina was about to reveal herself. But we have to deal with another whole situation, which is that I think that at the very least, my friend Derek, my friend Dina's shadow, you may have just gotten a chance. Well, you've gotten 1 more permanent point of angst because you filled your angst meter. But it might be that something is even worse happens. It might be that you have an attempt to take over.
Me?
No, your shadow will maybe take over your body.
Okay.
My rotting body?
No, not your living body. I'm sorry. Yeah, good point. Your corpus, because here it is, catharsis. I could be completely wrong here. Let me just read it.
I think I've made a grave mistake.
A grave mistake.
Grave mistake. Every mistake we make is a grave mistake because we're dead.
I'm trying to get a joke off. I'm going to tell everyone what the joke is, and I'm just waiting for the setup to it, just so you'll all be ready for it. I'm trying to get the punchline, SpongeBob ScarePants, in somewhere.
If you get that in, I'm gonna let you have some free corpus or something.
But that's coming on the way. I'm gonna find a way to get a SpongeBob ScarePants joke in here, just so everyone's ready to laugh when it happens. It'll be very funny.
Now, you know what? Here's what happens.
Underbaker.
Does Dina's shadow even want to attempt that right now? I should let you tell me when you're going to try to take over shadow player. Guide Patrick. I'm sorry for I thought I had to step in there and call it, but in fact the player tells me when they want to try to do that.
Dina's shadow is absolutely playing the best friend.
Yeah.
So doesn't want to play their hand at this point. Is just going to wait it out a little bit, I think. Also, not a great situation to take over in because there's a great deal of danger.
Yes, very good point. Well, then all I'll say is that you are able to convert all of that temporary angst you just got into a point of permanent angst if you'd like. So the thing kind of like clatters around. Its long, like blade-like fingers, like clawing and tearing, kind of rips into like the pillars and stuff here in the Shadowlands, and then it kind of clatters back deep into the tunnels, where somewhere on the floor in a room the mask is laying. And you finally see Hans, when the coast seems to be clear, go. And he climbs the stairs back up out of the cellar.
So that's just like your roommate. He's just here. He just does this, and you put up with it.
He is my sworn enemy, and I would not put up with it except for one important thing.
What?
That is what?
He has my children.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wait. Did he kill the children in the house?
No. And now he's like moving through the house, like, and you can see the weight of the years on him. He seems truly like, hundreds of tons of earth have weighed down his poor soul. And he looks at you. No, the children, they perished from a genetic disease. It runs in my family. Their respiration gave out. I did everything I could to save them. I did not kill my family.
All right, no one killed their family. It's fine.
The only murderers in this room are
No
Mac.
one did. Yeah, no one in this room killed their family. Nope.
No, just killed their co-workers on a union shoot.
Well, take it up with your union rep, Derek. I'm sorry, Dina.
It's perfectly all right.
Ruin things here, I can tell. You don't
What?
understand.
How can we push him out?
Push him out.
There's four of us now. Let's do a ghost trap. And
you don't understand. I'm still trying to cure my children.
They're dead.
Oh, buddy.
Did you meet the patrols outside?
Oh yes, I didn't care for them at all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what they were trying to do to you?
Yes, they were trying to take me off to see their captain.
Oh, no. You would see the captain briefly, so he could determine what your corpus is worth. They were going to soul forge you. The hierarchy, they turn spirits into ashtrays, boats. They soul forge renegade wraiths who are not part of their organization. And that is what they do immediately to any child wraith that they find. Do you know why?
Is that creepy?
Yes, they are creepy, but more importantly, a child does not have the reserves of willpower necessary to fight their shadow. When I arrived on this side, my children had already given in to their dark sides. And when this thing arrived from below, it became their new father. They torment me. They indirectly caused my death. And they're still here in the house, and I have to heal them. Or what was it all for?
So are they ashtrays now?
No, they're not ashtrays. They're
a boat. He said they could
No, they're
be
not boats. They're here in the house. Don't you understand? They might be
they're
listening
light
to us
bulbs
right now.
Okay.
They're not
Fine.
light bulbs. They are specters. A type of specter that results when a child falls to its shadow. They call it a stripling. Yes, they could be here right now. Oh, my darling children.
Was there a...
Annalise, Eckhart, Mikkel, I will help you, my darlings.
How can you help them though? Like, you're dead. They're dead. How do you stop that?
Well, the first step would be to deal with the geist in the basement. Unfortunately, the times that I have faced him directly, I have been thrown into a harrowing.
Into heroin?
No, a harrowing.
Oh.
It's when your corpus is completely shredded by some sort of entity or enemy, and you find your soul traveling through the labyrinth that exists beneath all of time and space, and you are tested to see if you deserve to continue to exist. It is very unpleasant.
So similar to heroin, then. Got it.
It's like that. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, we would.
Sounds jolly awful.
Hmm.
Shouldn't care
It's
for
a
that.
lot of paperwork, it sounds like.
Let's avoid that, I would say. Let's
No, there's no paperwork. Only the damned hierarchs turn people into paper so that they can do paperwork.
So people can turn a ghost into paper as well. This is a lot.
Horrific.
Is anyone taking notes on this? Is there this stuff that's going to keep coming up? Let's.
Can you run us through the last fight that you had so we don't make the same mistakes?
Yes, if you go sort of right, and then he went right, and so if we go left, then he'll go right, and then we can give him a jolly good stabbing.
Or take that mask off. That mask seems so familiar to me for some reason.
I tried to lure him out of the house. I tried to get the mask.
Make eye contact with me, Mac. Pardon, you were saying?
No problem. I tried to lure him out of the house. I feel that he is stronger here. There is perhaps some sort of doorway beneath this place that leads directly into the Tempest. He can call.
The Tempest.
It is not the Tempest you think of. Thespian.
Oh, well, I'd try.
It's a dark place where specters can ride the winds. I tried to get him away from that mask, which also seems to be a nexus for him, something through which he works his power. But little did I realize that he wants the mask to leave the house. He wants to spread his corruption out there. That's why I stopped you from letting them carry it away.
Okay. If you get him out to the patrols, can they turn him into paper or a boat or something?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And do we want that? Or would it be a bad thing?
No, that would be very good. Yes,
okay.
The hierarchy perhaps has some resources that I do not. Although in my first encounter with him, he easily removed my head and then reached into my body cavity and pulled out, yanking very hard, the spectral remnants of my innards. He may be powerful enough to even take on an entire hierarchy patrol. I am not sure.
Well, now I have good news on that front. Is that I was in contact with the hierarchy, the chaps with the cudgel. And they believed that I was one of them and that I was working undercover to hunt down a bad ghostie. So if we were to be able to find the same troop, it would surely be a trivial matter of a little classically trained acting to get them to come in here.
No!
And help deal.
The hierarchy does not come in here. No.
Okay, then...
They are not going to take my haunt from me and haul me off to be soul-forged.
But I mean, you'd hide. We'd bring him out to them. I'm just saying that I can handle.
They'll find out about the doorway to the Tempest beneath us. They'll want to take over this place. No, I won't allow it. No.
Well, we've got to draw him to this door to push him out the other side and snatch off the mask. It's a real bait and switch.
Yeah.
Do we need to take his mask off, or do we need to destroy the actual physical?
And he looks up, and now you can see climbing along the ceiling and coming down the banister the forms of 3 children with bluish gray skin and glowing eyes. And one of them is like,
What are you talking about, Father?
Oh my, get out of here.
Please, Father,
Don't
tell
like
us.
it.
We've changed our minds. We're your friends again now. We've realized not to listen to the man in the basement.
Lies! Lies! I won't let you trick me again! And you will not harm these spirits. And the children are now kind of moving aggressively around you. They've kind of all landed in the foyer and are kind of circling. You see what I'm dealing with. I can't hurt them myself. I can't hurt my own children. It goes against everything I believe in. I can't help you if they start to. And now the children are sort of like smiling, and you can see they have a lot of teeth in their mouth.
Good.
Now, what do you do, Derek Jacobson?
Now, one must never hit one's children. He's completely right. That is a beastly behavior. However, someone else's children is fine. That's just them learning an important lesson about how the world works.
Whoa. Hold on.
But
all right.
Derek Jacobson is going to say he's going to put on he's going to try and act his way out of this.
Wow, how did I didn't
Derek. Derek.
Oh, we're doing this again.
We should recruit them, Derek. Just think of all the things we could do with these. Get
Never
them
work
to
with
work
children.
with us. Oh, but just think we wouldn't have to put makeup on them or anything. They've already got the eyes down. Just think of all the performances we could do.
Is anyone else hearing like a ghosty voice in their head, or is that just me?
I think it's just you. Derek, there were just 3 ghosty kids here. And Dina calls out to them and says, "Sit your ghosty asses down."
We need them, Derek. We need them.
The little girl, when Dina says that, goes
now,
and then reaches forward and is suddenly her hand moves ultra fast toward you, Dina Lewis, and Dina, you can do something to dodge an attack that is coming at you.
I would love that.
What would you roll, do you think, Dina?
I would roll dexterity and brawl, I think.
That's a great idea. Go ahead and give me that dexterity plus brawl roll.
Okay, dexterity is 3. Okay. 2 successes.
Well, unfortunately, our friend the stripling got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so let me narrate what happens. Basically, you're like, sit your ass down, and the little girl giggles and then brings her hand back and then tears right through your corpus, brings her hand up inside of you, and as she does so, like her skin splits and black blood boils out of her. Her mouth gets really big as she uses a outrage technique called stone hand punch on you, and then stone hand punch. And now the children are like,
"Father, our real father wants you to take the mask outside.
Give
it to the policeman. It's easy, and then we'll stop hurting you."
Can I use my castigate to help with this at all?
Yeah, so these are specters. The children are specters. Mm-hmm. So you might use that bulwark power again. Or so the power that is like the level 1 power that we didn't talk about yet is mainly used to see someone's shadow. Mm-hmm. But perhaps you use it to learn something about them. Okay. Feels like that might work. Do you want to learn something about them?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
What I'm thinking is that I quite like the shadows idea with that. I'm going to try and get these children to join us instead.
Oh, interesting.
The more I can learn about them, the better. The shadows idea was a good one. It's let's recruit these children. Children are incredibly stupid. Is the only thing that Derek knows.
Oh, so he's kind of doing what his shadow suggested. Very interesting. Okay, let me see here. So, yeah, you can roll that power. That's going to be your castigate plus. Here, I found it. Look how quick I am, guys. I'm really good at this. I'm really good at this GMing thing. Soul sight. You see the shadow of another soul and gain an understanding of it. So since you're trying to use this on a specter, which is not the normal use of it, I want you to give me 4 successes, and you're going to roll your wits plus castigate. Your castigate is 2.
Okay, so my wits is, I think I had 2 wits. So it's going to be a good roll. Oh, it's a tepid roll.
How much is it?
I got 2 successes.
So I think instead you just try to recruit them. So let me.
You want some help with that?
I knew this camera was going off.
Oh, yes. There's things we need, Derek.
Come on, Shadow. Let's do it.
All right.
We can get these children in line. I've worked with children before. All you need to do is have a stern, sort of fatherly outlook, and they'll fall into line. It's fine. They want to be told what to do.
Exactly. And who knows that better than you, Derek?
So how can you help me? Trustworthy voice in my head.
I would say something along the lines of rolling 3 dice.
All right, let's get some new dices. I'll take it.
You're gaining 3 angst, Derek's shadow, as he tries harder to learn what these children are all about.
I got 2 more successes.
Great. 2 more successes. I'm going to say that what I'm going to tell you, and I don't know how you're going to use this player, Patrick or Derek character. You suddenly realize, like, looking like what they want, which is kind of something that you figured out about those soldiers outside. You know 2 of their dark passions. One is torture father, and they want to torture their own father, and the other one is make people sick. And the torturing father, you just know that that's what they've been doing for years because he mentioned it. But you could definitely get them to leave you alone if they thought there was an opportunity to do that.
Okay, so now I want to try. Sorry, I feel like Dina has something to say.
Oh, yeah. I thought about molding myself to look like their mother.
Very interesting.
Better than what I had.
So Dina, they hit you really hard, and you're kind of like down like this. And are you molding yourself to look like their mother?
Yes.
Great. Give me a Moliate 2 roll, and you're going to roll your dexterity plus Moliate. But this is tough. You saw a photo of her one time. How quickly can Dina work? I think you need 4 successes on this roll.
Say less. It's 1 success. So she just does like a quick, like, pushes the nose here.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, Dina. If you had more time and you weren't doing it in the moment, you might have been able to pull it off. But your face comes up, just kind of like oozing from your fingers, and so it maybe is up to Derek or Mac, because I can tell you that I'm going to let you do one more thing as they sort of like taunt you, like na 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 na, and then they are all kind of swooping in for the kill. So, Derek, what are you going to do?
Derek is going to attempt to take control and leadership of this situation.
Very good. And Mac, what are you going to do?
Don't have anything that's super useful in this situation. Where's my EMF meter?
Very good question. You could use a life web. You could suddenly like try to find it because it's one of your fetters if you'd like. Would you like to try to do that?
Yes, because if I need to, I can always escape to it.
Okay. Yeah, you have a life web. We gave you a life web of 1. So roll your wits plus life web. And Derek, you can make a leadership roll. And because you have information about these things used through your soul sight, I will allow you to add a die to it.
Oh, excellent.
That's 4 out of 6.
4 out of 6. Oh, very good. You realize that the EMF meter is where you dropped it up in the attic room, the attic tower, and you feel like a direct, like you see even like this like strand of silk connecting you to it.
Okay, so now I'm connected to it. So if I have to, I will just bamf out of here into my EMF meter.
Oh, I don't know if you can travel to it instantly. Let's see. I'll look that up.
Get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
So
In the meantime, Derek, how'd you do?
I got 5 successes.
Whoa!
I'm rolling.
What are you
like
saying?
Demon.
What are you saying?
What I'm going to say to them is like, now here, children, I know that what you're after is mischief. But let's say we leave these boring people alone and we go and make the police in the other room investigating our crime scene. Let's think of all the fun we could have with them. Isn't it much more fun to fuck around with mortals? I'm sorry, children, I swore, but that's me. I'm your cool Uncle Derek. I say fuck and bugger and things like that. Let's go and make the walls bleed and do all kinds of crazy nonsense. I really want to see your imaginations take flight.
They whisper to each other. And then they look back at you and they go, okay, we'll come back to play with you later. And then they
looking forward to it.
Down through the floor.
Look, kids are fun, mate.
Dina, I want you to know that your corpus has gone down. You need to fill in. I know that you went through the floor twice and then you took 3 more corpus. So it looks like 5 of your 10 corpus is gone. You just fill in those little boxes beneath the dots. So Dina is looking, guys, a little bit more transparent than she was earlier. And Dina, if you don't mind, I think that you're putting your face back in place.
Yeah, I'm just like trying to smooth things out, and I'm realizing I see a mirror, and I'm smoothing myself out, but I can't quite see all of my features so defined because I'm getting so translucent.
Yeah,
this is disgusting.
Not at all. You look fantastic, darling. It's been a very difficult day, and you are.
I've lost all kinds of hue and stature and melanin. This is so frustrating. This is not how I wanted my day going.
Normally I can see right through Derek, but right now I can see through you, Dina.
Get out.
That's a good burn.
Get out, all 3 of you.
Get out where?
You think this is funny? You think this is a game?
We helped you.
You need to bring those children in line. They're pretty salty.
You bring chaos. You are at the mercy of the whispers in your mind. Leave.
Well, how exactly has your research gone without the chaos? You've been here over 100 years, and you're still here. So maybe
I have been here 90 years.
Almost
for your information.
Years. All right, so almost a century.
And some of that time, the geist came later. So
you've still spent 90 years in here trying to figure out what to do, and you haven't been able to. So maybe you need something different, is what I'm saying.
Oh shit! Mac McCready just handed you your ass.
You don't know what will work. What you've been doing obviously hasn't worked so far, and maybe what we do, whatever the fuck that is, maybe what's needed is a little chaos and creative thinking.
I'm going to say something I've never had cause to say before. Mac McCready is right.
He kind of he's walking, but he's wraiths are a little lighter than people, so he's a little bit floating, and his footfalls here in the land of the dead are like really like clack, clack as he walks over to you, Mac, and he says, "Where do you go in a time of stress?" And he points at your throat. What happens to you when things get hard, when you are tested?
I came to find my sister.
Your sister isn't here.
Well, maybe we help you with this house problem and then I go find her.
Okay. If you promise that no hierarch comes through these doors.
From what I've heard, we don't want them around here either, so we'll do it. Yes, they don't seem like pleasant people. Chaps, as Derek might say.
Tell me, Derek Jacobson, Dina Lewis, and Mac McCready, what's our plan? And that is where we will end it for this evening.
It's like, oh.
Next time, the circle of ghosts will have to try to bust a particularly nasty specter and basically fulfill some of their friend Hans's unfinished business. Guys, thank you.
I had a wonderful time.
Oh, we did so good.
Do you have a plan?
Oh, goodness, no.
We have a whole week to come up with one.
You have an entire week to come up with one. I love playing with new people. You go through all the kind of the stages of meeting new people, but I feel like you get to know them so much better, so much more quickly when you play a role-playing game with them. So I feel so much more closer to you all. I hope that doesn't come off weird.
That's beautiful.
I will say,
RASHAWN, you saved it because you could have just let a long, awkward pause happen there, but you came right in.
That was really weird.
I will say that the mark of a really good game for me is that I go away. I'm actually finding it hard not to speak in Derek's voice. A mark of a really good game for me is that I go away and think about it afterwards. And I did that last week, and I have a feeling this week I'm going to be sitting there thinking, but what is the plan?
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
I did that last week too, but I thought in Derek's voice.
Yes. And you still have a couple more Wraith powers you might discover. Each of you have maybe some more passions and other types of mechanics we can get into. I really love this game, but more than that, I love playing with these three. That's Patrick McNamara, RASHAWN Scott, and RINA HAENZE. Find them online. Tell them you love them. Thank you, guys. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for being here.
Good night.
Good night, RASHAWN. Good night to all of you as well. Now, we'll say good night for now, but Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. So church has gotten a little earlier, everybody. We are fulfilling our promise to make sure that Frankensteins are part of this season of Vampires of Pittsburgh by programming a little mid-season replacement. We will be back with the grand finale to our Vampires of Pittsburgh campaign in December. But for the next 6 weeks, please tune in to Frankensteins of Pennsylvania. That's going to be 9 a.m. Pacific this week on Sunday. And guys, we have Abu Salim, Ross Bryant, and Josephine McAdam playing Promethean the Created, a game where you play an creature that's been brought to life from assembled pieces of corpses looking for your place in the world. But, oh, here come the villagers, and they're angry. They want to rip you to shreds and lynch you. What are you going to do? So you'll get to see what kind of monsters all three of our players create. And I'm just realizing that I normally have Frankenstein behind me, but my wife was using the office today. So instead I have Amy Sedaris. That's perfect. The monster of Amy Sedaris. Guys, we really love putting on these shows for you. Please subscribe if you want to show us your support. It really does help us do a couple things here around the channel. Please follow us on all of our socials. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. But the best place to get in touch with us, and we love interacting with you, is on our Discord, the Server of Blood. Please hit us up there. We are also a merch store, and we have new stuff in the merch store. It's a threadless store. There it is, streamofblood.threadless.com. Our wonderful art director, Jill Petracek, has just thrown up some new shirts with the Rain and Blood images on them by the amazing Will Potworth. So go and check those out at this address. And I'm just going to say my thank yous and good night. Thank you to Clinton Trucks and Brian Baldinger, my producers and partners. Thank you to Jill Petracek, who was our secret storyteller tonight. And also is our designer and our art director. And thank you to Megan Arch, our social media manager. And thank you to you guys for tuning in. We will have the climax of The Castle, a Wraith Oblivion story next week. Until then, bye.